I'm so tired. Speaking of daylight savings
Flip over
time.
here.
So
Yay.
for
Okay.
us, everything is just an hour earlier, which gets weird.
But our calendar shifts. So, like, if you had an 8 o'clock meeting because it was 10 o'clock East Coast, now it's a 7 o'clock meeting for us, but it's still a 10 o'clock East Coast meeting. Like,
I still would rather have that than what I have now.
Oh, absolutely. I'm sure.
No, I'm saying just stop moving. Like, put Arizona 2 hours behind the East Coast and put the East Coast on whatever time they want, which is fine. So if they want to do permanent daylight saving times, that's fine. But then move Arizona back into the mountain time zone.
Or it doesn't matter. As long as we're in one time zone where it's always the same,
No, most of my team is on the East Coast. I need I need 2 hours, not 3 hours.
I know, honey, but when things actually pass through legislature, I don't think they're going to say, hey, when's Cameron's meetings?
Problem is it didn't pass, and that's why we are not enjoying daylight savings time now.
All I know is it's stupid, and we did it once, and it was horrible.
I missed the time in Indiana when they had it, and then they caved to East Coast business pressure and joined the East Coast again.
Yeah, I remember one year we didn't do it or did do it or something, and all I remember is it was still light at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
In the summer.
All right.
Where all my wipey cloths are because I cleaned everything.
Yeah.
So they're so if you open up the desk, they're actually in a little eyeglass case in the desk drawer.
That would work if I had a desk drawer.
Right. Oh, okay. They're in my desk drawer if you want to borrow one.
Oh, okay. That would be why I haven't found them.
You can have it in May. Yeah, you have it in May when you come for the con. Anyway, no.
The con's in June, so if they come in May,
that'd be
way
too
just have
early.
extra time.
Yes.
They can go to the Grand Canyon. All right.
We call it, in my house, we call it the uterine tracking device because the mom knows where everything is.
Yes.
I like that idea. Oh my goodness. Like, it's so our best friend / former roommate all the times. Like, do you know where I left? And
yes.
Like, if I saw it, I can usually tell where it's at. But if it's something that I haven't, hello baby, seen, like I have no idea where you put it. You didn't,
Yeah.
What do you want, Deanie?
Hello, Dean. Are you the
We're
good
about to record. This is the one that doesn't like being held.
Oh, so it's so that's Floof.
This is just this giant floof that is always hungry, which is probably why he's here. He's here to ask me for food, but you ate recently. So.
All right. Cool.
Bye, Dean.
Do we have... Okay. Let's see what Lank... Oh, and Lank says sure. So go ahead and pencil Lank in for 2 weeks. All right.
2 weeks.
Then we are good. Are everyone ready?
I will be in just a moment. I need to go through all the pictures in the show notes.
Isn't it like shift page end to get to the bottom?
I wanted to give you choices.
All right.
Just selected everything.
Yeah. We good?
Yes.
All right.
Close enough.
I will double check. I see us in Twitch. All right. We got 5 people watching. Yay. All right.
Hi, Seema. Let us know if you can hear us, love. Yay. See me.
Oh, wrong channel. Where is Seema? Yay, Seema can see in here. All right.
Yes.
Going live
I'm gonna stop
in
singing,
5,
Mommy.
4, 3. On this episode of the AIE Podcast.
It's time for Spring Trial of Style.
This means total galactic war.
AIE is active in Corborn Alpha, and the Federation needs your help.
What lies beneath has been revealed.
And Gusty is here for our 400th episode to talk about AIE and WoW.
All that and more coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 400 of the podcast celebrating you, the Alia Ayakta Est gaming community. The Die Has Been podcast. This is Tetsemi, and to my left and 2 states over is Mewcow.
Greetings, guildies, even you Alliance people, because apparently you're going to be joining us soon.
Exactly. And to my right and upstairs is McCullough.
Hey guys, there's Irish apple cake in the guild kitchen, which is different than Jewish apple cake, which is also probably in the guild kitchen because I'm a woman of multiple cultures.
I just want it either way.
Exactly.
Come visit. I'll make it for you.
There we go. And speaking of visiting, this week we are joined by special guest Gusty, who is here to talk to us about AIE in WoW. Welcome. Push to talk.
Happy 400th podcast.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is our 400th podcast. I mean,
I know.
not individually, not all of us have been around,
Yes.
but yeah, the fact that the AIE podcast is at 400 is pretty insane.
Yep. It's crazy.
That's a lot of weeks.
That's
I
a
know.
lot of time in podcast time.
It's a lot of time in podcasting. All right. Well, let's go around and find out what everyone's been up to in real life. And let's start with our guest, Gusty. What have you been up to?
Well, I'm getting ready for Pie Day next week. So we've got pizza and a blueberry pie, Maine blueberry pie, by the way.
Yum.
Yeah, ready to go. And I'm also really excited because I'm going to be doing D&D sessions for the next 3 weekends. And one of them is going to be a live session that we are hosting at my new home here in Portland. So that's going to be really fun. And I'm also starting plans for a new guild event, another D&D one-shot series of one-shots, still in the early planning stages. And you can maybe ask Like Theris about that when you see him too, because he's going to be doing something for that.
Awesome. Mystery. We'll have to find out in 2 weeks. Oh, wait. No, we're not doing that.
Yeah, we are, honey. We are now.
I know. All right. And speaking of other dice and role-playing games, McCullough, what have you been up to?
Oh my goodness, what have I not been up to? Well, so I think it may have been like our second or third adventure in our Star Wars game. We came across this Imperial plot. It was a chemical weapon that attacked non-humans, only non-humans. And this thing just kind of fell by the wayside, literally, because I have a list in my notes of like all these important plot points or people that might come up, and it's like it carries over in every week in my notes because I'm the note taker. And this thing, it happened like probably the first 10 sessions. We're on session 85. So I finally like took it off my notes a few weeks ago. Right? And then Mike's like, this week, we're so we have uncovered an Imperial plot to basically take out, we know there's going to be a high level assassination in the Senate. Now, there's a senator who was recently attempted to be assassinated. Yes, it was by my character's clone. Good times. But it was not successful. So we're kind of pulling the threads at that and pulling the threads at that. And we find ourselves at a warehouse, and it's in the industrial part of Coruscant. And there's vats of chemicals. Do an education check. And we realize it's 2 of the chemicals that made up this bioweapon we had found out about like 75 sessions ago. And this is what it all led to. Wow. And they are working on it. And yeah, it was a huge callback. And now this is what the assassination attempt most likely is. Also, there's even more dangerous bioweapon they're working on. It does not affect only non-humans. It affects anybody. Only a small amount It's active for about an hour. It dissipates within 2 hours. It is deadly for the area that it's active in. Oh, and by the way, half of the batch is missing. We know there's a big Senate meeting in, tomorrow. So, yeah, good times. Oh, and by the way, the reason we're working for the Republic right now, because we were working for them, and then we kind of got person non grata because we had to steal, 2,000 metric tons of uncut spice because one of our foster kids, was kidnapped. And that was the price the Pikes wanted for us to get him back. And then that footage got leaked to the Republic. So we were person non grata. So after we did the castle run to get the other and, save the other kid who had been sent to the spice. Yeah, it's a mess. Basically, we got back to the ship after doing, stealing or borrowing a ship to do the castle run. Borrowing a pirate ship and the crew and all that, where we were met by one of our former teammates who basically said, oh, by the way, I'm taking you in. And then we got the information to them, and then the general in charge of special ops said, oh, yeah, we're going to need you to stop this plot. We can probably get everything cleared up if you could stop this plot.
Convenient.
And, but... Well, basically, also, it's the equivalent of the head of the CIA saying you have a special set of skills.
Right.
So yeah, no, that was a really, really great time, just kind of bringing that all back,
tying it all up.
Tying it all up, and of course, my character's clone is involved in all of it.
Got it.
So that's what I've been doing, and I mean, and I could probably go on for like 3 hours on what I've been doing in Virtual Dice. So. Yeah. The show's not that long because I have to get back to dice.
Yeah, exactly. Mew, what have you been up to?
Well, I see all that dice you're playing with, so I kind of tried a little bit of myself, but in a different way.
Yes.
Not the same way, because my online time is when everyone that plays D&D goes to bed.
Right.
Yes, true.
So, but I have been playing a bit of a game called Tiny Tina's Wonderlands.
Yes.
And if you enjoy Borderlands humor and you enjoy D&D, then you would enjoy this game, because it is essentially Tiny Tina has been given GM power and said, "Okay, I'm going to run a game for you." And it's what you would expect. But it's really fun. The core gameplay loop is shoot things, but instead of guns, it's crossbows, and you're shooting things with wands, and they try to be a little bit creative with it. And then every once in a while, you're like, "Oh, what is this gun thing?" So, but yeah, no, it's kind of a nice change to have. I've been playing the I think it's the what is it, the Fang Keeper? Basically, I have a little pet worm. That follows me around, but I get to slam a giant hammer on people from time to time. So that's always fun.
That's always good.
Hammer time.
Yep, I came across a curious gun that I was like, "Oh, this is kind of cool," and went to reload it, and my character throws it on the ground, it explodes and kills me. So that was a fun realization. And then to proceed throughout the rest of that play session to keep doing it, because I keep forgetting, and my natural reaction is to reload and be ready, for the next bout. And it was a crossbow. But yeah, just every once in a while, boom, I killed myself again. Oh well. So yeah, the game was not killing me. It was me doing it the whole time. But yeah, that's been a fun change of scenery. Let's see. Have been playing a tiny bit of WoW. Still working on the Vault of the Incarnates heroic mode. We are halfway through. I think we are at 5 of 8 now, because we just got Grim Tonum down.
So you're on
Keurig?
Yeah. So, well, that we're gonna start working on her next, and I hear that she is extremely painful.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
So it's So that's gonna be the next thing to tackle, and then Clutch, and then of course Radagast at the end. But yeah. So we're just kind of slowly making our way through there. it's one of my old rating teams that I ran a long time ago. It's it's casual hardcore. Like we do heroic, but we don't do it with any kind of like, oh, you got to have, the best EP and you got to be
Right,
here,
right.
be here on time. If you're not here on time with all of your consumables, 50 DK minus. Like that's,
Yeah.
we
casual
You're not
hardcore.
jerks
doing
about
that.
it.
Yeah, casual hardcore. And in fact, we bring in pugs a lot, and sometimes those pugs will just help us mow through stuff. We're like, oh, okay, well, I guess
Yeah.
if you're just gonna, wave your large DPS around, then we'll take it.
Okay, well, you gotta be careful with the large DPS. You
There-
don't wanna
there's a
slap you
show
in the face
title.
with it. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, no, Vault has been nice. Like it's I went away from WoW rating for a while to do Final Fantasy rating. And
Right.
that actually kind of like leveled up my rating ability.
Yeah.
So then I
Right.
come back to WoW and it's like, oh, this is actually kind of nice and relaxing and easy.
Right.
So-
Yeah.
Funny. Yeah.
I've got an add-on that
But,
basically tells me how to raid.
Exactly. Yeah, this thing tells me, oh, stand here, jump here, do this.
Yeah.
Oh, this thing is coming, orb coming, dodge it. Like it's just kind of nice and relaxing, and you don't have to think too much. But yeah, and we'll
You're
talk
not
more
healing
about.
then, right?
No, not healing. I'm a tank, a warrior tank. But I actually have
OP.
been pondering. Yeah, yeah. Warrior tanks are extremely overpowered. I have my co-tank is this poor bear tank that is just constantly. Yeah, he's
two ends of the
constantly just
extreme.
miserable.
Yeah.
Yes,
But thankfully they're
yes,
getting.
and
Did they just get a rework, or are they getting a rework?
they got a minor rework. I think they're supposed to work on them again because it helped them, but not enough.
Right.
Like it helped them go from F to D.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's better off. Like that's the thing is like he can survive anything now, but can't do the damage, or he can do damage but can't survive it.
Right.
So whereas me, I'm just a meat grinder, just bouncing around the screen and killing everything. But yeah, and I'll talk more about Final Fantasy 14 in that section of what I've been doing there, because that's stuff with the new patch. But yeah, that's pretty much the main things. And occasionally playing this little game called Tower of Fantasy. It's kind of a nice little palette cleanser because it's a different play style. It's like Engine Impact. It's that same kind of style. There's a little bit of a gotcha, but you can earn it. Like that's one of the things I liked about the game is it's really easy to earn it. Yeah, you can earn a lot of the currency to do all the roles, so it's not that hard to be a free-to-play player or just give them money every now and then to show them, hey, I appreciate that you put work into it. Here's a little money. It's, you don't have to throw a bunch at them.
Right.
But yeah, it's a nice palate cleanser to go back and forth, and it helps avoid burnout. But
That's awesome.
and then I don't know, real life, not really much going on. We actually don't have miserable winter. In fact, it's already summer. It's been in high 80s, low 90s already.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and then I hear California is like 50s, so that's fun.
Yeah, no, it's a bit crazy.
But that's enough out of me. What about you, Tets? What you been up to?
Oh, a number of things. So the one game McCullough and I are in, she saved for me to cover, which is our Call of Cthulhu game. We wrapped up the previous chapter, basically got half credit. We got half of what we needed to done, didn't do half the other.
I don't think we could have done the whole thing though.
No. So basically we stopped them from burning the library and saved the books, but they killed the professor and stole his brain. So because he was in another building, it was like either split the party and fail on both levels, or combine the party and go to one and complete it. So we got that done.
You failed successfully.
Failed successfully, yes. And then, of course, as the wrap-up goes, the police are called in and start investigating us and asking us all kinds of pointed questions about what we were doing and who we thought we were and what was going on. And we were saved by a very slick lawyer representing basically an oil tycoon. Who had worked with the previous group in Cobb's Corner unknowingly, right? Or
Yeah,
was
no,
it-
we knew that they were financing what we were doing.
Yeah. So for a lot of our characters, it was the first time we got to get on a seaplane and fly from where we were to Detroit and land on the river in Detroit and get pulled in and interviewed and wounds taken care of and everything in this very rich 5-story, office building where the top 2 floors are living quarters and the bottom 3 are all business. And basically got hired to okay, so we know what's going on with these these aliens. We want you to go back to not Cobb's Corner, to where were you guys?
We were in Cobb's Corner was where the adventure started,
Right.
which was a small farming area. But then they sent us to up in Canada.
No, but right, we were
Yeah.
not originally going to go to Canada. We were
No,
gonna
yeah,
go
we're gonna go back to Cobb's Corner.
Cobb's
to continue
Corner and finish
investigation.
interviewing. But then they're like, "There's been a recent attack in Canada. We need you guys to go up to Quebec and investigate there. We'll send you with with finances and you're good to go." So that's where we were. We landed on the ground in Canada. They went to the police station, interviewed the policeman, so we could start investigating while I slept off having too much alcohol, apparently.
Yeah, someone couldn't handle their alcohol.
Gin and tonic, yeah. So that was that. That's where we left that game, and we're ready to pick that up. And then in online stuff, deep dive into Final Fantasy XIV because of the patch. Heavy into doing the Loprits daily to work through their crafting, gathering stuff, which is really fun because it's good to be back in Burrow because there was a lot of empty space that they could do stuff with, and it's good to see them taking use of that. Got my 2 Manderville weapons to their 2nd level for Bard and Dancer. Just made the decision that if I'm going to do Pug content, I'm going to do it as a Dancer as opposed to Bard, because Bard is still way too squishy for me. It's just even if I do the boss mechanic right, if I'm not topped off, I'm dead on the floor. And it's like, okay, I'm tired of this. So with Dancer, for some reason, at least I'm more survivable. And
you're more mobile. That's part of it.
Yeah.
Like even though both are technically mobile, for whatever reason, Dancer just feels like it can bounce around while it's doing stuff.
Yeah.
And it technically has the self heal. It's not much,
right?
but
it helps.
Or the group heal. Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, for the same reason I started doing Red Mage for that exact reason. Is I was tired of being squishy, and Red Mage can at least heal itself directly if it need be.
Yeah, so worked on that. I have not touched the crafting relic or the gathering relic yet, nor the new.
Oh, yeah. It's tough. That I'll talk more about that in the.
Okay,
you
talk more about that. And then I have not touched the new Palace of the Dead. Not Palace of the Dead is new, but there's a new dungeon,
deep dungeon
like Palace of the Dead. So I want to go try that out this week, hopefully. ESO, I'm basically just doing chores right now. I finally got my provisioning to 50, so that leaves just enchanting, which is at 44 or 45 to get to 50, and I'll have all the crafts at 50. And WoW, I capped out Renown a couple weeks ago, and since there's no more story, I just kind of took a hiatus until March 21st because we're getting more stuff to do. So that is where I'm at. So we will be digging into more WoW shortly, but first let's cover this week's news.
AIE News.
All right, and we covered the MFN stuff last week. So Mew, what about streaming and guild podcast news?
We have a number of guild-related podcasts, which the links we have in the show notes, but I will go over the names just quick. So if you need the refresher, maybe you don't know. But we do have, of course, the SWTOR Escape podcast with Max and Seema. They also do the Behind the Games podcast with Maxima and Jeff. Both of those you can find at newoverlords.com. Then we have Working Class Nerds with Marcus and Nick. Not safe for work, not safe for life.
Not safe from your kids. Hide your kids. Hide your wife. Well, don't hide your wife. Just hide your kids.
Yeah. But you can find them workingclassnerdscom.wordpress.com. And then we have Boards and Swords with Chris and Phillip. That's at boardsandswords.com. Not swords and boards. It's boards and swords.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
We have Dr. Gameology, with Dr. Daniel Kaufman at drgameology.com. We, of course, have STO, Fleet Action Report, with Greebog and Nicodemus. They have a YouTube channel at Fleet Action Report. And then we have a Podcast Reborn, a Final Fantasy XIV community podcast with Old Man Franks, a.k.a. Brandon, but everyone knows him as Old Man Franks, Megan and Bro, which apparently is also not safe for life, not safe for work.
Nope,
but
they get into anime discussion, and you can guess where that goes.
Oh.
Tentacles.
If only.
But you'll find that at bonusroll.gg under the directory with A Podcast Reborn as the name. And that does it for guild-related podcasts.
All right. And in Nomads news, we have Diablo 3. The new season 28, Rite of Sanctuary, is live. You can learn more about that at us.diablo3.blizzard.com. There's a blog there. This season features the Altar of Rites that grants account-wide perks for your seasonal characters, such as reducing all level requirements of gear to level 1, double bounty cash, rewards, etc. And Diablo 4 closed beta for pre-order next weekend, March 17th through 19th. Open beta for everyone the following weekend, March 24th through 26th. Level a character to level 20 in the beta and receive the Wolf Pup backpack. You can find more about that news.blizzard.com. There's going to be information there under Diablo. And the release date for that is for Diablo 4 is June 6th, 2023.
And that backpack is ridiculously cute. It's a backpack, and there's a little wolf cub sleeping in it, and you can hear the sounds it makes as it's snoring or moving around. It's freaking adorable, and the devs have assured you that regardless of what happens to your character, the wolf pup is safe and will not take damage while you're out exploring, so you are free to wear it into the wilderness. All right. But in other Nomads news, we had the Coreborn Alpha. A number of folks from the AIE got invited into the closed alpha of Coreborn, which is an open-world survival game, and we had a blast. Once we got our heads around how the crafting, gathering, and building worked, we went to town, literally. Max literally laid down the blueprints, which is an awesome game feature. Basically, like, if you were going to put a floor, like 4 squares down for a floor, you could put the blueprints down on the ground, and then anyone that had gathered material just comes along and puts it onto the blueprint, and it makes that so you can frame out the entire building and just have people gathering, run in, dump supplies off, go back to gathering, and the building gets built as you go without having to worry about placing, gathering the materials and then placing each piece. You can build it ahead of time. Really smart idea. Once we got to level 2 on the town center, we had a PvE attack coming from NPCs. We swarmed them and defeated them, but 8 hours later, while we slept, they got the revenge, and they knocked out 90% of the floor of the bottom base. So we had a 2-story base, and it's just like one corner section standing, and then the entire second floor. They never made it up the stairs, thankfully. They didn't learn. They took out the stairs, but they didn't figure out how to go upstairs, and so all our stuff that was upstairs was fine. We rebuilt and got to level 3 just before they did a full wipe for the last day of alpha. Rallied the troops, rebuilt much faster now knowing the system, and got to level 2 before the alpha ended. Beautiful scenery, lots to explore, really fun building and crafting, and yes, they're adding fishing.
Oh, great.
And I included some of the pictures below. Forster did join us in there, but we didn't get a picture of the full group with Forster in there, but they were very helpful on the last couple of days to get everything supplied and built. So we'll have pictures in the show notes from that, but it was a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And Star Citizen 3.18 is a huge leap forward in a number of ways, but will take a week or two to stabilize, and they'll have people checking it out. Check out with Cadaveri if you have more information about Star Citizen.
Excellent.
Okay, is that over to me now?
It
It's
is.
over to you.
Okay. In WoW, we have a guild event coming up. The Trial of Style is a micro holiday fashion contest and very dear to my heart. It returns March 20 to 24th, and I'll be doing guild runs every night at 7 p.m. Eastern. Players will earn tokens to buy transmog gear, and there's new stuff to get now. And the event also counts toward the new trading post. They have a monthly goal for this month. It's a Dark Moon Harlequin transmog set.
Ooh.
Or the mug. And yeah, it's kind of creepy. Most people get it within a week or two, but if you're still going on it, then the Trial of Style will help.
Yeah, that's the one reason I'm coming back besides the patch on the 21st is I want that full setup. It's gorgeous.
Well, if you're on at 7 p.m. Eastern, or after, I don't know how long we'll go, just as long as people want to do it. Join me for some Trial of Style. In raid team news, Kitty Aggro has defeated Heroic Razageth for the Ahead of the Curve achievement and also completed their Glory of the Raider achievement for a Molten Mammoth mount. My team, Better Late Than Never, has also done both of these. Yay! Behind the Curve is 4 of 8 bosses in Heroic. The Alliance team Hell Froze Over is 3 of 8 heroic, and the Filthy Casuals are working on normal Razageth and have taken out the first boss on heroic, which I dub Eggnog. Noob Raid went time walking on Saturday night and defeated 5 bosses in Ulduar.
Rats.
That crazy cat lady. In a WoW Classic, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow raid team is going strong in Ulduar, and they are 12 of 14 bosses down and looking for their first Yogg Saron kill. Old gods. Wah.
Good Lord, 14 bosses. I forgot it was that long.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they have a great core group of players, but they could use some more. And with a few folks out last weekend, they went after some short-handed achievements in Naxxramas instead. The achievements included Less is More, the Dedicated Few, and Subtraction. So they got those done.
Nice. All right. And in SOTOR, the big thing this week is Total Galactic War. The guild will be working to gain points to beat the other guilds to the domination of a planet. It's a bit of strategy, a healthy portion of teamwork, some RNG, and usually a lot of fun as well.
And in Final Fantasy XIV news, we'll start with a news on the monthly series that Castiel is doing. Looks like we're starting with Return to Ivalice, Alliance Raid Series, which is required if you want to unlock the Bazja Southern Front, which is required if you want to do the relic weapon from the previous expansion.
Yep.
You must be level 70, have completed the Stormblood MSQ, and have an eye level of 305. And the cool thing is if you are at level 70 or above, Bazja is a great way to level from 70 to 80. It's pretty much what it was designed for.
Yeah.
But if you need to unlock it, just speak with K10. We have coordinates, but he's in Kugane. But yeah, you'll need all that to unlock to join in on the fun. Please allow yourself time to run quests, watch cutscenes before the start time. And we have the Royal City of Rabanastre, March 22nd, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Newcomers and old pros are welcome to attend. No guides necessary. Just come and have fun, learn something new, and suffer. Just suffer.
Yeah.
Especially, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's one of the hardest Alliance raids. It's rough,
okay.
especially when you get to the math boss. The math boss is brutal.
Yep.
Yeah, you have to do math on the fly.
No,
Yep.
that's why we have Excel
100%.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, it's. I mean, even the first boss is like the filter boss. Like, if you can't get past the first boss,
Yeah, don't bother doing the
trouble.
rest.
Okay,
Yeah.
that seems fine because there's a filter in Excel.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Add your health to this pool of numbers to make a prime number is one of the math boss's requirements.
Oh my god.
No, seriously, it's.
Yeah, like it's yeah. It's like you think you remember it, but no. But
Wow.
but yeah, and in general Final Fantasy 14 news, we do have a new patch out. As I talked about, it unlocked the Lulliprits, which is the crafting tribe. So if you need to level your crafting from 80 to 90, this is the way to do it, because all of the quests give you the material in order to finish whatever it is they're asking you to build. So you literally just show up, craft it, hand it back, and they're done. So it's a great way to level. And
Great.
of course, you get to hang out with the Lulliprits. I definitely highly recommend the theme this time around. Like you said, they're finally using all of that burrow area. And they have a neat little new area, which we won't spoil what's going on, but it's a lot of fun. If you did any of the Manderville quest, the first part of the Manderville quest for this expansion, you kind of got a taste of what they've been working on. But but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's kind of like exploring what they're doing up there, that's as much as I can say without really getting into anything. But
Yeah.
anyone who's finished the story, you're probably wondering what they're doing up there, and well, this is going to kind of touch on that. And of course, it also unlocked more of the Manderville story, which of course, as usual, is just insane fun silliness. Yeah, the new character they
it's the
introduced
best,
is
though,
funny.
because you get to play as Senior Mandeville.
Yes,
And
which is just, of course, he's overpowered.
Completely overpowered. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's you and him are the two most powerful people in the world, essentially.
Oh my.
Yeah. So, and it's just his power is different, and then the scary thing is he's doing it all with a goldsmith hammer. Imagine if he had an actual weapon.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's terrifying.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they do introduce a new character, which I found hilarious, and the tropes that they're doing with him are really funny, him or her, and yeah, it's the if you've gone through it so far, like what to expect. It's more of the same. But even with the weird little side thing that comes out of nowhere while you're doing what's going on. But yeah, and then let's see. I think that's probably the big hits, and of course if you've done any of the holiday stuff, I think you have a couple more days to do the Little Princess's Day, or Little Lady's Day.
Little Ladies' Day.
But,
Yep.
yeah. But that comes with a new dance and some other minor stuff. I think a music roll and a poster. So if you want to jump on and get those done before they're gone.
Very cool. All right. And by the way, Corsair made a comment of his wife is arguably more powerful.
I would agree. Yeah,
Yes.
they hold her in reserve. She's definitely
Yep.
more powerful.
Yep.
Excellent. All right. And ESO knows cool things the guild has been doing. They've been working on clearing the trials that don't have mechanics that force them to use a full 12 people. They currently got 3 that they can routinely complete. Things planned or coming up for the guild. The Tales of Tribute Tournament 2 is concluded, but there's plans for TOT 3 to take place in mid-June with a prize pool of over 7 million gold. And too bad that doesn't convert into real money. Well, non-game money.
It's not Eve.
Right, yep. Game news, Update 37, along with the Scribes of Fate DLC, will be out on March 13th, so tomorrow, for PC, and March 28th for consoles. Update 37 brings some accessibility improvements and housing improvements, and the new DLC brings 2 new dungeons. The next chapter, Necrom, will be out on June 6th for the PC for PC and Mac, and June 20th for consoles.
Yes, and the new DLC just looks awesome. Necrom, or the new whatever you call it, Necrom, looks amazing. So that Arcanist class is going to be fun. All right, the Federation fleet is making big moves with the colony in STO news. We're currently working to complete Tier 5 for the overall colony. We could use some help with people doing the renewable energy daily at the colony for more batteries to help move it along. Somehow, we've already filled the 1.79 million dilithium and almost have the fleet marks. Amazing job from the team. KDF Fleet is also working on the final project of the dilithium mine, which will unlock the last discounts on dilithium prices.
And Guild Wars 2 news: the new episode "What Lies Beneath" the release schedule has been dropped. Dungeons and More, of course, is every second Friday, and of course MFN, which is Mandatory Fun Night, is weekly. But it's interesting. I didn't want to comment that it seems like they're going away from the living world, and now they're doing episodes. So that's interesting experimentation they're going with. So we'll see how that goes for them.
Absolutely. And in Lotro news, Update 35 is still on Bull Roar, which is the PTS. That means they're getting closer to when the new update will go live. The Spring Festival started on March 9th and runs through March 27th. Time to dust off the map of the maze and get ready for some fence walking.
All right. And with that, let's get back to Gusty and find out what is going on in WoW. There's no news that dropped recently, right?
Nothing. It's
really.
fine.
Just this is a little thing about the content release date for 10.0.7. The next big patch is coming March 21st. Woohoo!
Oh!
And all the players, we're going to be heading to the Forbidden Reach, which was the Drakthir Evoker starting zone, and see what's happened since they fled. The new content for max level players involves exploring 5 zones and the Zaskara Scary Vault, a weekly treasure room with a fancy ring to get that you can upgrade, and it's known as the Onyx Amulet. That's Anulet, not amulet. I don't know why.
That's not at all confusing.
Not at all.
Not at all. No. There's going to be primal storms still, and including a new mega storm and other similar to. They'll offer gear upgrades, which are great for alts and for your regular characters too. Sometimes there's transmog. Mog is life.
Yeah. I do. It related to all what she said. I highly recommend watching the latest cinematic, because it essentially explains, why we're going there and what just happened. So,
plus it's just plain awesome.
Yeah, yes. and introduces the big bads, like unlike other previous expansions. Hey, look, big bads
Right up front.
Yeah,
and they're interesting, and you want to know more about them. Yeah, like what? Oh, why is he like that? Why is she like that? Oh.
Why does she look like the Winter Queen?
Once,
clearly.
And the nice thing is, and the nice thing is, the Horde and Alliance are not fighting. So let's keep this up, Blizzard.
That'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
There's also going to be new faction grind rewards, including 4 dragon riding customizations, which look cool.
Oh,
a battle pet named Bucky, and the Noble Brufalon mount, which is like a cow thing.
Mm-hmm.
But not a Tauren?
No.
Not a Tauren. Nope.
More like a buffalo.
Definitely relative buffalo. They're like but big, beefy.
Yeah.
But they don't fly because we have dragons for that.
Yep.
We'll also have a quest line to befriend the Winterpelt Furbolg in Azure Span by slowly learning their language, which I think is a really cool concept. You don't just push a button, do one quest, and boom, you understand them.
Yeah, so it's really cool.
Fun.
Yeah, and
that
like
Duolingo for WoW.
Yeah, just was something you have to work at, and that's what you normally do with learning a new language, right?
Yeah, you still suddenly know it.
Back in the EverQuest days, we would literally sit for hours around a fireplace, and if somebody spoke a language you didn't speak, you would have conversations back and forth, and you would gradually get better at picking up what they were saying. And they did it by skill points, but your skill would get better, and then you'd understand more sections of it. It's also very similar to what No Man's Sky does with learning languages in their game. Because you walk up to an alien and say, I need to practice my language skills. And they'll point to 4 symbols and you go, I want to learn that symbol. And they'll teach you the symbol and then you can recite it to them. And if you do good, they usually give you a gift. And if not, they just look at you strangely and go, so very cool.
You just said put a cow on my airplane, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And then we also are going to have human and orc heritage armor quests are coming for this new patch. And there's going to be a full skirt for the humans and a chest spike for the orcs. Because, of course, you need that.
Yeah, of course.
Be careful who you're hugging unless you're intentionally.
Yes.
Unless you're an orc,
Yeah.
because then you're
Yeah.
just going to hug everybody with that
Yep.
thing. And don't mind if I do for those. Also, the Worgen, Goblins, and Lightforged Draenei will now be able to be monks. Let's roll, people.
Exactly.
And meanwhile, another content release, 10.1.0, is on the PTR, and we'll see a new underground zone in the Forgotten Ridge, or whatever the title is. That'll have more new dragon riding skills and a new raid, Aberis, the Shadowed Crucible, and a new set of Mythic Plus with 8 different dungeons. And they're going to feature lots of plagues, elementals, and experiments that have gone out of control. Nothing whatever to do with the new dungeon or raid, I'm sure.
Sure, it's fine.
Yeah.
And maybe
Fine,
some
fine.
old god stuff. Yeah.
The cool
random.
thing about
Fine.
this new zone is it's actually under the existing zones,
And there
you'll
the whole
be able
time.
to enter it from 3 of the zones. You can
Oh,
find
great.
an entrance.
just literally
It
just
you
fly
literally
underneath.
dragonfly into it, and you're in the new zone.
And
that's
you're going to get a new dragon riding mount that will be good at that. And we do like ground skimming is a new ability.
Right, to
Yeah.
restore your vigor.
You're going to have a roof.
And you
Yeah,
get a
it-
slinky new dragon mount.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Kind of
that's
looks
gonna
like
be really fun.
with the serpent dragon in
Well, it looks like a cloud serpent,
Heart of
but
the Aztecs
it's
Right.
it's a cloud serpent, but with proper arms and legs, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So it's more like you can tell that like the body of a cloud serpent's there, but like it just has a really long neck and then the head, and then he has a full proper arms, legs, wings, and yada
pretty.
yada. Because like the thing about the cloud serpents is they don't really have wings; they just kind of
Right.
noodle their way through the air,
Right.
Yep.
which is always
Almost
been
like
interesting.
cloudworms.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's very cool. And of course, the thing that we're really excited about is cross-faction guilds will be a thing.
Oh, huzzah!
Yeah, we've been doing cross-faction raids and dungeons and all kinds of stuff with our Alia Jacta Est Virtus, our alliance guild, and then all the various horde guilds. So, but now people will be able to join cross-faction. So
Yep.
that'll be really fun. And we, and by we I mean Tetsemi, have been. So I'm sorry, I missed this. Yes, we've been doing cross-faction raids and dungeons, but we finally achieved the dream of one community.
Yep.
Which is big.
Yes.
And the officers, and by that I mean Tetsemi, are currently testing functionality on the PTR, and we'll let you know how it will all work once it's ready to go. But we're just really enthused about it.
Yeah.
That's
it's
some
exciting
great.
stuff.
That's
Yeah,
a
right-
great
right
thing to
now-
talk about for the.
Yeah, right now for the testing, we have an alliance tune in the Horde guild. So it's still a faction-specific guild. So
Right.
if you start a guild on the Horde side, it's a Horde guild. You start on the Alliance side, it's an Alliance guild. But you can bring in members of the opposite faction. They don't contribute to certain achievements if you're still achieving those in the guild. Like the Alliance member can't help contribute to the Horde members raiding the Alliance towns and killing the
Yeah.
Right, it
things
makes
like
sense.
that. Stuff that kind of makes sense. But they can take advantage of all the leveled up options in the guild bank and that sort of thing. Right now, the advertisement lists are still faction specific. So if you're on the Horde side, you'll only see the Horde advertisement guilds.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You can't see the Alliance ones, but you can be invited to an Alliance guild. Guild chat seems to work. there's no language barrier or anything like that in guild chat. If you're in a guild group, there's no language problems. There are still some funky stuff, like you can't, even though they're a guild member, you can't like right click invite to group or right click invite to raid. You have to do that through the guild panel, at least right now on the PTR. And we don't know about Greenwall testing. Right now it works fine if the Alliance player talks in guild chat because it uses the guild functionality, but we don't know if like an Alliance player using Greenwall can get passed from the Horde guild to the second Horde guild or not. So we're going to test that later this week and find out what the limitations are. So we're close, but
I wonder how that one add-on does it then, because there's another add-on that supposedly is cross-faction.
Communities. It uses players as relays. So it will whisper to a player in a hidden channel, and then that player will then whisper to the thing. And so they use communities. Stig's already looked at that and said, yeah, it's doable, but it relies on having enough mass online of players for it to function. Sure. If you've got very few players, then the relay system doesn't work. This Makes at sense. Least, Greenwall would work if you had one person in one guild and one person in another guild. It still works because of the channels, but we don't know. We don't know on the back end if they're using the community API to communicate or not. So there's still stuff we've got to investigate. But regardless, it's promising because that means like, which side are you on? Oh, here, let me invite you to the guild. You still can't, like, the orc can't go to Stormwind and use the guild bank there. You have you have to use your own guild bank. But
it'll be great for those because right now we have our sub guilds kind of set up to have like a one raid group per sub guild,
right?
But now you can invite a member that has a character on the opposite faction because maybe that their racials are really good for them for this class or whatever. Right. So it comes in real handy.
I think this is the first step was grouping. This is the next logical step, and then we'll see where they go from there. So
there's quite a few people over on the Alliance Guild that would like to have their Horde tunes moved over to Vertus just to have them in that same guild.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Yep.
And
we'll work on all that coordination and everything as it gets closer and we get everything sorted out. So
that'll be easy, just transferring, especially for raid teams to be able to move. I'm sure there will be some Horde raid teams that want to pull over their Alliance characters, possibly with server transfers or whatever. There's going to be a lot of activity when this goes active.
Because like my warrior is actually a Worgen warrior, so that character would be able to start participating in some of the AIE stuff. I could join the noob raid more, and do fun stuff like that. But I did also see they kind of snuck this in. You know how the Drakthir have the ability to switch to their visage form. And even have it set so that once they go out of combat, they can switch back to their visage. Well, apparently, Worgens have learned from them, and they can start automatically switching back to human form after they get out of battle.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, because it's already been the first way. Like, if you are a human form and start battle, you'll automatically switch to Worgen.
Yep.
So now they're going to have it so you can switch back out automatically. Right. So they're learning from them crazy Drakthir. So.
Yep. Thanks to the Drakthir. Yep.
Yep.
I don't think I've gotten into human form in years on my Worgen.
Yeah.
I like it.
And Seema did have a question on the cross-faction stuff. Right now you can only do cross-faction in instance content. So if you're in the open world, you can't form a cross-faction party. With the guild, you can form a cross-faction party made of guild members and go do stuff, but we don't know. It looks like I was looking through some of the testing notes from people that were giving feedback. There's no language problem if you're grouped together, cross-faction in a guild group. Say works, party works, that sort of stuff. If you're not grouped in a guild group, then the Alliance person gets translated, to whatever the language is. So you can't understand them outside a current guild group cross faction. But you can do open world stuff as a guild group. We don't know how much that is, and we also have no idea, like older raids, like Ice Crown Citadel, because there's two paths that the one horde goes one way and the alliance goes the other way. We don't know how
they may never do that because
or they could just default to whoever's the raid lead.
Right. It may
true.
So if you're horde, you all go on the horde side. If you're alliance, you all go on the alliance side. We don't know, but it would make something like the pyramid in 2 expansions ago. Dazarlor. Yeah, it would make that content really, because they started completely different bosses. So, yeah.
Again, I think if they default to whoever's raid lead, you could do it that way.
Right. Yeah, because they've already got in the PvP side, you can do the they can put you on, like if there's too many horde players and not enough alliance players, they can move some of the horde players over to the alliance side and have them fight that way. So the tech is there, but like I said, I think they're being very careful with this and rolling it out in steps and seeing what works, what doesn't work, what the community will accept, what the community pushes back on. So
do you know, in the PvP stuff, do they, if a person is fighting their own faction, do they get like temporarily changed into an opposite faction character?
Only in instances.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean that does happen to you if you're in Dazarlor.
Yep.
Yeah, but it's because you're not going to see a horde person willingly trying to kill a horde king. So that's why it switches over. But like in PvP, there's always horde versus alliance, and if you're a horde character brought onto alliance, you will get changed over to alliance. The one time it doesn't happen is if you're doing 2 custom groups that are like both horde, then you're both horde. That's just it. You're both alliance. That's just how it is. But if you're supposed to be alliance or be horde, then they will transmog you or whatever over to that.
Because that would be really difficult for PvP folks to, you see a big Tauren running around, you're not going to assume that he's against you if you're horde.
Right.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that is going to be our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we would like to thank Gusty, as always. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Alrighty. And if you have any questions or comments about our show, you can email us at podcast.aie.org@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter. The show is at AIE Podcast. I am at the Mew Cow. Mikala is at Cyberwaif. Tetsemi is at Ivory Tiger. We record live with video every other Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us at the website aie-guild.org/podcast-live-stream. And the link for it is at discord.com/ well, you can look at the notes. It's probably easier.
Exactly.
Or just go to aie-guild.org. I think there's a link for it on there. But yeah, it's a bunch of gobbledygook. If you want to see our past episodes, you can catch them on the YouTube channel, which is the AIE Podcast. And our theme was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul on Twitter or visit his website, andrewallenmusic.com.
Awesome.
And, just a note before you go in there. We did already release the content for stuff. Okay. I just want to make sure you knew.
So, just as a reminder, folks, and that was after last week's episode, right?
It was. Give me 2 seconds. I'm just looking for it right now. AIE Podcast. It was released. Yes, it was released after 398, before 399.
Okay. So, just if you want to take a look on the feed, there is a project that Lank's been doing. Actually, here we go. Lank and friends. So, Jock, Hoots, Lank talk about the forays into tabletop role-playing game. They touch upon the history of Dungeons and Dragons, their own experiences playing tabletop games, and the recent game community rage regarding Wizards of the Coast's open gaming license. So there's a link in the show notes. But it is TTRPGs, the tabletop playing game show, episode 1.
Yep.
It's on the same YouTube feed as AIE Podcast.
It is. And length involved, so that tends to mean there's going to be some long talking.
Yep. And we did send it out on the feed, so it should have also gone out. Actually, you know what? I did not get it on the feed because the website was in maintenance. So I will get that added to the feed, and we'll put that out on the RSS feed.
I could have sworn I saw it pop up on my YouTube.
It is on YouTube, and I put the link to the MP3 in the
yes, I see.
podcast channel in Discord, but I never put it on the RSS feed because we didn't have a way to edit it. So,
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Next time, we will be talking to Lank and the crew, speaking of Lank and the crew, about gaming shenanigans. So until then, AIE.
This is Guest Detail.
This is Tetsemi.
And this is Mewcow.
This is Makala.
And this has been the AIE Podcast. Yay!
Yay!
Only
Lots of
forgot
long
that it was
talking.
to talk once.
I know. Look at that, coming in right at the hour.
I know.
Weird.
Yeah. But really excited about the cross guild stuff, so.
Oh yeah, a lot of our guild members are really quite a lot. There was some, like, people are wondering, they want to make sure that we're still going to do invites to AIE Virtus. I mean, you were saying that you were having trouble getting one link for all invites for all applications. So frankly, I think a lot of our folks would prefer to still have an alliance and a rotating horde.
Yeah. Like I said, that doesn't change right now. The foundation is it's always either an ally or a horde guild. It just depends on which guild you want to be in. Now it doesn't matter which faction you are, you can be in that guild. It's just the thing is, with that advertisement, it makes our job as officers a lot easier because we can just go in a few times a day, review the applications, process them, and then people can go in when they're online and do it. Right now, it'll be a bit of coordination of, hey, I want to get my characters in there because my raid team's over there. Okay, I'll get on my horde tune, you get on your alliance tune, or vice versa, and we'll do the invites. So
I actually do this regularly for our different raid teams.
Yeah.
That they'll, get an invite to Comatas because that's the automatic raid guild right now. And then once they're in, they'll just say in guild chat, hey, can someone move me over to, it's usually Kitty Aggro. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, chat room, thank you as always. I'm going to go ahead and... Oh, did we get any show titles? I do not see titles.
Just the one.
All right. Well, Gusty, if you come up with a show title between now and tomorrow, or you want to use the waving your large DPS around, we can absolutely do that. So,
yeah.
All right. Thanks, chat room.
I